MJF, the most talked about man in all of professional wrestling this week, is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, pulling his own pipe bomb in a promotion where the man who did the original quote-unquote pipe bomb promo is the champion. But no one's talking about him the way they're talking about MJF. Is it a work? Is it a shoot? What did he pull off here on AEW Dynamite and their big sold-out show in Los Angeles? We'll dig into it. Get your comments on screen. Dolph Ziggler, he's in WWE. Renee Paquette, she was in WWE. What were they doing backstage, reportedly, this week at AEW Dynamite in Los Angeles? Ring of Honor, what is its future? It looks like we're going to get a pay-per-view out of it underneath the AEW umbrella. Yes, a lot of AEW news today. Plus, Morrissey, formerly known as Big Cass, is reportedly done with Impact Wrestling. And on top of that, this woman who's dominated inside the cage could be heading to the WWE. We'll get into all of it on today's Sportskeeda Wrestling Top Story of the Day. Sure the wingers stink!
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
If you're a new viewer, then you should know this. Oh, watch out, watch out!
Watch out!
Yes, you're watching out, and you should be clicking the like button and sharing the links or you stink. So much to get into. Let's not wait here. We'll talk about WWE names that are reportedly backstage at AEW in a few minutes, but more importantly, the most talked about man, one of the most attended WWE, non-WWE, all elite wrestling television shows of the year, not a pay-per-view, television shows of the year in terms of a live attendance, was last night at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, a big noteworthy show. Some big things set up here for the AEW Forbidden Door pay-per-view coming up with New Japan, that combo show. Hiroshi Tanahashi will face CM Punk. That's pretty cool. They had Athena on the show. Let's talk about that pipe bomb.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that pipe bomb?
And if you guys didn't catch of it, we talked about it pretty extensively last night during Getting Over on Twitch. We had a pretty cool show last night, but we talked about that the first half of the show. So, but we did talk about the pipe bomb last night, and it just convinced me more and more and more that this is just even more of a work, but a well done work, if not.
And was it a work? Was it not a work? Who knows? Who knows, man? It certainly is compelling what happened here. So MJF does this massive promo with a lot of questionable borderline language. In Canada, one F-bomb got out on air. In the United States, when it aired, he was bleeped at the end when he called the president of the company, Tony Khan, a quote-unquote effing mark, fire me, right directly into the camera. He kind of also started off the promo, certainly as a heel, did not come out with a neck brace, even though he was stretchered out of the pay-per-view on Sunday. Didn't, all but acknowledge in saying that he was sore. Said that the fans weren't behind him, even though he gives them moment after moments and all these different things. He buried a good
feel. He makes you feel.
He does something that people in the back can't do. He makes you feel, and he doesn't drop their opponents on their heads. I make you feel by doing things that they can't do. And he basically buried the entire locker room and then went after Tony Khan himself by saying, you're saving all your money for the ex-WWE guys. Would you treat me better if I was an ex-WWE guy?
Oh,
I don't want to be here anymore. Fire me. And at this point, the crowd is, booing him and saying, shut the F up at the start of the promo. And now they're suddenly cheering for him. It is some people calling it a masterpiece work. I want to know your take. I know you guys were on Twitch last night, but we have to watch out.
Work.
So it's at this point, it's a storyline of some kind, right? Yeah.
And AEW pulled some kind of reference or some promo. He was removed from the roster and the shop on AEW. Work.
You know what? I think it started out as a shoot and ended up being a work.
Yeah, 2 months ago, it was a shoot. Yeah.
Like it started off as this whole thing where, wow, this is happening. And now they started airing the dirty laundry on national TV and people are just sinking their teeth into it. I've seen several of the members of the internet wrestling community that this is just like, this is the best storyline ever if this turns out to be true. But after last night's speech, man, even though it was as passionate as I've ever seen him give a promo out, it definitely just told me this is a work. This is definitely a work.
I'm not debating that at this point, because at some point some type of agreement was made for him to do this. Does that mean he signed a new deal? No. Does it mean he's going to be with him past 2024 when that reported date comes up? Something he referenced in the promo? No, we don't know. All we know is he's certainly playing it up, and AEW certainly gave him a television platform to do so.
So during the commercial break, CM Punk came out and people said, "What was it, to confront him or to what?" I think CM Punk was coming out there to congratulate him on a great pipe bomb, by the way.
Well, we don't know about that.
You think that's what it was?
Yep, that's what it was.
I mean, we don't know. It's all speculation, and speculation.
Yeah, it all happened off camera, though.
It all happened off camera. Plenty of videos of that out as well. So, did he get fired? No. Has he been worked off of certain websites and roster pages and different things like that? Are we going to see more of him? It is unclear. Obviously, this is something that AEW is doing to pique interest of people and keep you stay tuned and play on the minutes that they want you to watch the show.
And it's working. They posted their highest demo since March. So
yeah.
But
also let's be frank, it's something they needed to do. That they've been slipping and fighting television ratings against NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, being jerked around on different things. They got the executives in house from the television partner. They got to peak a number. They got to do something. Yeah.
You're right about that. And even with it being that it's the Fallout show from Double or Nothing, you had this incredible promo that everybody's been following around because they know what's going on from an internet standpoint. It still didn't crack 1 million. It was like 9 point, like what, 6 or 7. It was like close, but it still didn't crack 1 million.
That's still in the general range. The problem is you're going to get the demo. I think with this thing, if you try and do it again with CM Punk, is it too soon? Because you did that earlier this year and they had a great program. Is it too soon? But do you want to do it now just because of everything that's already happening, the elements, the real life things that can portray itself now in a story, a reversal, if you will. Punk doing this before, a work shoot thing becomes a storyline and people were into it. Now, the issue with this, and this is something that has to be said, we're getting reports from a lot of different people. Not a lot of people happy about this in AEW. Not a lot of people happy about this storyline. And I think there's a lot of people that are starting to express being upset in AEW for various different reasons. And now they feel like they have a green light to go to the press or play with the press or break from the PR department and do what they want to do. You have Thunder Rosa, your AEW women's champion, going on the record today with What Culture, saying she was upset, didn't feel like they got the right ride, feels like they had a great match against Serena Deeb at the pay-per-view, and they're getting kind of pushed aside. Like they're getting bummed by other people. But such is the burden of having such a deep roster. Is this going to set unease? You have, CM Punk, an ex-WWE guy, as your champion. You have all these different ex-WWE people featured. The problem with this is MJF is supposed to be a heel, but he went babyface with this thing. There's a lot of things you did in this that you can't wrap and put back in the box. What did this do for Wardlow? I was deeply entertained by this promo, but I left it thinking like, it was short-term fun. What does that mean in the future? You know what I mean? What does that mean in the future? Is there going to be another date? This is a fun first date, but are we going to be dating?
It's MJF. He could go back.
MJF.
He could go back to getting booed like that with words he says. So
absolutely,
he was getting cheered just because it's an Austin McMahon situation. They didn't boo Austin when he was going after McMahon. Now, did they? No. So it's an Austin McMahon situation.
It's an Austin McMahon situation, but that breaks from what you're trying to do with AEW. No. That's a WWE thing that's already been done. The man versus the system.
I wonder.
Tony ain't gonna be on. Tony ain't gonna be.
I also wonder
they were cutting a promo like he was gonna walk out there at any minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
He's been on camera.
But I also wonder from an
ever,
executive standpoint, from the merger, since he did address the mergers that were in attendance last night at the forum. Mm-hmm. I wonder if maybe that promo didn't sit well with some of the executives either. I don't know if there's any report of that, but still, man,
or the timing as he did that promo because those people were there and they knew there would be a great reaction to it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to, but also you got to say it's a risky thing to do. It's a very, very risky thing to do, and that's what they want to do. They want to play. They want to be a show that does risque things. And this is the guy who's the best talker in the company right now. I don't think
we've been talking about him for nearly a week now, guys. Just think about that.
All these other things that happen on the pay-per-view. And guess what? You fans want to talk about it. So if you try and tell me anything otherwise, You know better.
Those executives are doing nothing but smiling right now. Trust me.
Yep.
Sure, but also we got to know, is this guy signed? You got him in the future. You got him locked down.
Well, he got 18 months to figure that out. So
they got 18 months to figure that out. They got a while to figure out here to see how this plays. People saying he attacked the fans, yet everyone cheered. You know, it's true. The thing is, he's supposed to be the heel. You know who's the heel in this? AEW. You know, yeah. Think about that from Saturday. People calling him unprofessional on Saturday, and now less than a week later, he flipped the whole thing. Chris, the Cowardly Dog, says, "Welcome to wrestling fans. Turn on you on a dime." And if you know how to spin a coin, you can get them to come back to you. You know what I mean? Like that's he like turned it the other way. So I mean, there's all these other things. You had Miro coming back, you had him squashing Johnny Elite, all these different things. You had CM Punk, you have Hiroshi Tanahashi. We're still talking about MJF.
Interesting enough, Dave Meltzer, good old Uncle Dave, also kind of mentioned that this could be also leading to a possible angle where MJF ends up facing CM Punk for the title down the line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is the beginning of that, where he's just so frustrated with the company, and Tony Khan was like, "All right, what do you want?" He's like, "I want to be AEW champion," and maybe he puts him in an angle like that. I don't know if this is the seeds of that, but it kind of makes sense if you kind of think about it. Just saying.
Yeah, and I honestly want to continue to hear what fans think. Let's get your reactions to it. Let's see what you guys think of this story as it develops. It was certainly a salacious promo.
Right here. That's a good one right here.
Yeah, here we go. Darren Price. No way he gets the mic. If it's not a work, it was a shoot before. Tony paid him. He locked him up for a long time. Watch and see. The script is true, just months old.
Yeah, he could very well have done an extension and paid him on that extension. So
sure. And gave him a higher rate or something like that, or of some bonuses. You know, he got a raise already. You know,
but he was making criminally low amount of money when he got there. But at the same time, he wasn't established. Now we knew, if you watched MLW, you knew the guy had promise and talent, and knew that he probably was going to be at this point at some point in his career. But obviously, he wasn't paid like that because he hadn't been proven yet. Only in the in the independent circuits and on MLW. But nobody knew who he was before that. So you're kind of, a lot of people are going in completely fresh with this guy. Yet if you did watch MLW, you knew this guy was going to take off.
Don't give up. Stay with us. We know a lot of you guys are watching for the first time. Let's hear your take on this whole MJF situation. Mike Rainey, at first I was thinking this was a work, and part of me still thinks that most of it is. But I'm also thinking this is a work shoot, where a lot of what he said is true. I'm of the opinion that some of this started in reality and has now been played out. But you keep breaking down some different doors that you can't close. You're talking about forbidden doors. Some doors that you're not supposed to go through in wrestling are not working the boys. You already did that here. All right. You already worked the locker room. That is confirmed. All right. Showing up for things that are advertised that fans bought. You already did that with meet and greet this past week. You nearly did it with pay-per-view. And so that would have been drastic. How much of that was real? How far do they want to go? Is this a play to a diehard fan that you know is already going to be there and they're going to watch? Did it produce a rating? We haven't seen that. We haven't seen it. Are the social media numbers through the roof? Absolutely. The Google trends on him are very, very high.
Hell, the demo equaled what NXT pulled in for a whole rating last night. So
sure.
Granted, the numbers are
the
lower
problem
overall
is
across the board.
That new television contract isn't going to get a higher rate if you're not pulling in new fans.
Yeah.
So that's the point of this.
But that's not, but also the Nielsen rating ain't going to be a good indicator of that. You're going to look at social trends and things like that when you want to see.
There's going to be multiple factors.
Yeah, because like I said, the Nielsen ratings, if you're looking at just Nielsen ratings, they're all low across the board for everything compared to 5 months ago. So just because they didn't pull in 1 million, that don't mean anything. That demo was pretty damn high. It equaled as much as NXT pulled in for the entire audience, and we're talking about it. We have over 200 people here watching live. We had over 650
Don't
people.
give away our ratings. We have to play the numbers our way, Jeremy.
Yeah, whatever. I'm inflating them, by the way. I'm Vince
Our
McMahon.
demo's really good, though.
But it is interesting to see why Punk came out.
Yes, Lance Davis Jr. saying if Punk came out. Yes, he did. And also, it's worth noting, that was filmed, obviously, by fans. The videos you're going to see of it, that was done during the commercial break. Is it going to be on television?
One more thing about MJF, AEW is actively pulling the uncensored version of that video off of Twitter.
Yeah,
They don't do that. They don't normally do that stuff.
It'll stay up there. It's the internet.
No,
and also
well,
this is the fan friendly promotion that's pulling stuff off the internet.
But it's something that AEW doesn't normally do. Another indication of a storyline.
And this is a great question here too. I mean, like when you talk about like where do you go from here? Finesse just asking if it's a work. Where do they go from here? Tony's going to be coming on your character and feud with MJF. Do you think you see that happening?
Nah, I doubt it because we've had Tony on camera 3 times ever in the history of Dynamite. Tony doesn't want to be Vince McMahon. He doesn't want to be that guy. So Tony may have kayfabe hire somebody to defend him, but I don't think Tony's going to be a Vince McMahon type of character. He just doesn't want to do that.
Justin DeMarc saying he's going to WWE after his contract is up. I assume you're referencing MJF here. I mean, if you're WWE watching this, he's doing a lot of, TV 14 things, but listen, the guy can get so much out of just talking, right?
Yes.
Just talking.
Much like the promo he cut when he was talking about being bullied as a Jewish guy. He took a real life situation and turned it into a damn good promo. And he did the exact same thing last night.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people with different takes. A lot of people watching for the first time. Really appreciate it. Stick with us. We got a lot to cover here. Why was a former WWE World Champion and Renee Paquette, obviously a little bit easier to understand when Renee Paquette was there, but why was a former WWE World Champion Dolph Ziggler backstage at last night's AEW Dynamite? Now, Ziggler is a resident of the LA area. Of course, he's frequenting the comedy clubs there and performing there frequently, and I know a lot of people that work with him. Obviously, his brother does work with AEW, Mike Nemeth. So let's dive into this whole story. Renee Paquette backstage as well.
According to Fightful Select, Dolph Ziggler was backstage just visiting friends. Of course, Ryan Nemeth, the Hollywood hunk, is part of the Wingmen, wrestling for AEW. But Sean Ross Sapp reported that he was just backstage visiting some friends. Has confirmed that Johnny Elite is not signed full time. There was a party for a couple of hours after the show between the AEW, Warner Media, and Discovery people. Very restricted guest list for that. Renee Paquette backstage also just visiting, and Lana, CJ Perry, Miro's wife, was also backstage, seen throughout the day. They did not hide Tanahashi to try to make it a very big surprise. He was socializing all throughout the day with people backstage, so they did not try to hide him as well. So those were the notes coming out of AEW Dynamite last night.
Quite the show. I mean, obviously the thing that stole the show was this promo, and they did some fun matches, and people were raging and going crazy. But everyone's talking about this promo.
I wonder if I know Dolph and Nick have a comedy show. I wonder if they had one in LA last night. Maybe that was why he was back.
I should look it up. I would assume they did some stuff, or maybe
I know they're doing some stuff. I know they're doing some comedy stuff together coming up. So maybe they had something in LA for that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely compelling to see how this plays out. Obviously, AEW announcing some big shows coming up with Blood and Guts, which will feature the Jericho Appreciation Society taking on Eddie Kingston and his squad coming up in Detroit, which is going to be a big thing for them as well. So things down the line. Ring of Honor, let's do an update on them. Ring of Honor has been under the banner of AEW for quite some time, and the last we saw of them was a pay-per-view. No television for them since being purchased from the Sinclair Television Group. So what is the future of ROH Wrestling? Well, it looks like we're going to get another pay-per-view from it that will carry on a brand of pay-per-view that they've done in the past. What's the latest?
According to Fightful Select, another Fightful Select article dropping today. They have been told by AEW talent that the weekend of July 23rd is the target date for the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view. They've been told that Death Before Dishonor is going to be what's happening, and it's going to take place from a very familiar Ring of Honor staple, Lowell, Massachusetts. Jonathan Gresham spoke with Fightful recently and said that ROH would be starting back up soon, and Tony Khan has actively spoken to the media about hoping to reignite the pay-per-view calendar for Ring of Honor. Of course, Death Before Dishonor is a regular summer staple going all the way back to 2003 for Ring of Honor. So that is what is going to be next for the company. Probably no immediate plans for television, and that was confirmed in the Fightful Select article today. He is still continuing to work through that. So it sounds like the next thing we are going to get under the Ring of Honor banner is going to be that pay-per-view. And well, I mean, I say the next thing, July's already next month. So in just about a little over a month and a half is when we're going to get that pay-per-view.
Interesting stuff here as well. I want to continue to get your takes here on the MJF story because that's something you guys are all talking about. But don't worry, there's other news to cover here. Don't worry. There is? There's other things we get to talk about?
Nothing else to talk about.
No, there's plenty to talk about, but MJF is definitely dominating the headlines. Yesterday, one big headline that we had was all the cryptic messages from Bray Wyatt. A lot of people are now starting to, and I'm seeing it more and more and more on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Is the Fiend coming back at Hell in the Cell? I don't know.
Let's be clear. This isn't Sportskeeda reporting a story. But
we're not.
No, we're simply seeing the sharks swarm around an idea, right? We're looking into the fan base and the fan conversations.
People looking into things way too much is what they're doing, basically.
Yes, and we were doing it yesterday ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I can say I spoke today with someone who has experience in WWE. They're not with the company, but they are somebody who's had experience with WWE, and they said they've heard it too. And so I was like, "Do you know anything?" And he's like, "No," but I've talked to enough people that say they know. It sounds like something's going on. Now that isn't me stirring the rumor mill because I don't have anything to even talk about a rumor. So it's just like more of, well, are you doing what the fans are doing? So this is the fun thing.
Let it be known. Let it be known that we are not reporting and saying that is going to happen.
We're not ringside news.
Dots. We're just connecting some dots that we pointed out in the past and just presenting your guys the information so you guys can come up with the conclusion. We're not saying that he's going to show up at Hell in a Cell or just return to wrestling, but the signs are there. I'm just saying, connect.
Yeah,
dots. That's all.
And
exactly.
I said it yesterday. I was like, the fact that he changed his name to Wyatt 6. A trademark, a WWE trademark. Well, Wyatt is not trademark, so he could probably go as Wyatt, just like Christian went as Christian Cage when he went to Impact. He could be Wyatt anywhere. Obviously, he did not show up last night. I didn't expect him to. I expect him to do Hell in a Cell if this is even wrestling related at all. I'm still not holding my breath.
And by the way, guys, if you're just tuning in right now, I see about 211 of you tuning in and watching and showing us the love. But show us the more love by hitting and smashing that like button right now. The more you do that, the algorithm pumps it out, and a lot more people get to watch it. So do that right now and share it in your favorite wrestling group if you're watching right now on Facebook. Tag your friends in the comment section and just share the love across the board and just join the conversation. But let's jump into our next article here.
This one's interesting here. Morrissey, this is a man who's really regained so much health and positivity in his life. We got to have a great interview with him as this journey got going for him about a year and a half ago. I know you spoke to him, Jose, and he's had a great run in Impact Wrestling. In terms of, Impact, is it one of the biggest promotions? It's up there. Yeah, it's up there. But it's a promotion that has definitely been a launching pad for a lot of different talent, a place where some talent go and find something in themselves that they haven't gotten somewhere else. This guy, at the hands of Diamond Dallas Page, has found such a wealth of health and rejuvenation in his life and has dominated in Impact. I'm surprised that they maybe even weren't going to put the world title on this guy. He was that strong. Now, it appears that his run with Impact may have come to an end at the recent set of tapings.
Yeah, Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, says that he has departed from Impact Wrestling. He is set to team with PCO on tonight's episode. That'll be starting here in about an hour to take on Moose and Steve Macklin. This will be his final appearance. This was taped back on May. He made his debut about a year ago, so it looks like he signed about a year deal to be with Impact as he was the replacement for Eric Young in a tag match here. Obviously, he appeared in AEW and lost to Wardlow. He has obviously revitalized his career. He had a great run in Impact Wrestling. He was in about every major storyline that they had and did a great job. So I would not be surprised if Tony Khan is calling or Vince McMahon. I would not be surprised.
Angela's watching this too. I mean, if this guy showed up in WWE, I think a lot of people would pop for it.
This is just this is very similar to a Drew McIntyre situation.
Yeah.
You leave and you go make a name for yourself on the independents and then bounce back and I would not be surprised if Vince brings him back, but you have the relationship with Tony already there too, so it could go either way, to be honest with you.
Morrissey has such an amazing story, dude. Like just what he was been able to do with his life, just to do a 180 and just be at the very top and pinnacle of his game and his career. This guy is awesome. Wherever he ends up, he will be a tremendous asset to any company that ends up signing him. I would love to see him back in WWE. He would get a welcome. He would get a nice welcome.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't think it's kind of similar to Drew. I don't think he was being as poorly booked as Drew on the tail end of his run with WWE, but that singles run was a flop once Enzo was gone. So
there were other reasons why that didn't work out.
This is
there were other reasons why that didn't.
And so now he has completely gotten everything together, just like Drew McIntyre did. So like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Vince came calling, especially when Vince saw him appear in AEW. So
sure, why not? I mean, but that's the benefit. That's the benefit now of being a more open televised market where people want to see the big players who can come from one big promotion to another. Yeah, better for wrestlers, right? Yeah. Some cool stuff here tonight. You mentioned Macklin will be his opponent in that big tag team match. Go check that out. It's going to be on Access TV, but also check out our interview with that. Steve Macklin is going to be featured in the upcoming wrestling showcase, Killer Cross, Tony Nese, and he finds out in the interview that is up now that I got to do with him, he finds out who his opponent is for this one-day 8-man tournament, a who's who of names from WWE, Impact, wherever, all around the world, MLW, New Japan, you name it, they're going to be in this tournament. 8 of those top names are going to be in this tournament. And they're going to do those matches all in one day, all on one pay-per-view. The old school King of the Ring style. It's going down September 3rd at the Hyatt Regency. It's going to be on Fight TV. This interview is up now. You can go check out that interview, and he finds out who his first-round opponent is in that. I want to thank these super chats. We're going to get to that here in a minute. Don't worry about it. We're going to get that question from Victor in a second here. A big name from Bellator has had a successful fight record as well. Valerie Loretta. Am I saying that correctly? I don't want to.
You nailed it. You nailed it. You got it.
I didn't want to make it wrong. All right. WWE is interested in signing Bellator MMA fighter Valerie Loretta. She did get a look here when they had their recent tryouts in Texas during WrestleMania week. And they're inching ever closer to a possible agreement. This is interesting that, another person that chooses to go down maybe just a variation of that next in line route that they're doing now with college athletes of trying to lock in potential young, talented, proven people that pop off the screen that have some talent that you can build on. Obviously, is a stunningly beautiful woman. That doesn't hurt either, right? I mean, you have a handsome guy. You have a pretty lady.
Absolutely.
How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah. 7 foot tall. Can't teach that. All right. Yes. But also, she can kick your ass.
Absolutely.
She can kick your ass.
And I
mean, she's got a tremendous MMA record, 4-1-0 in Bellator. She is a mixed martial artist out of American Top Team. She would be a tremendous asset if she can nail the WWE style. She's definitely got to look for it. And WWE has a history with working with MMA fighters. Look at Sonya Deville and look what the work that she's been doing. You look at women like Ronda Rousey and what she's been doing. So, and Brock Lesnar, former MMA fighter. I mean, you see what he's a tremendous legacy that he's left behind. So, and Matt Riddle also, when you look at guys like that, they tend to come into the business and just kind of seamlessly almost. And she has the look. Let's see if she can pull it off in the ring.
Yeah, and this is coming from kind of the edict that WWE wants for their developmental. They want people that are basically new to pro wrestling so that they can not have to unteach things for a lot of those wrestlers. And so it's a lot easier for them to go after these young athletes that are either collegiate or coming from MMA, things like that. They're a lot easier to mold and actually will probably be ready for television a lot quicker than maybe somebody that is more of a seasoned veteran in pro wrestling.
I know that drives hardcore wrestling fans crazy.
It
I mean,
does.
Yeah, it does.
It
does.
Yeah, it's
That's the WWE way of doing things. They have
Especially,
their
I know, and I get it, but it does drive the hardcore fans crazy because it's like, oh, you're just taking away a spot from an indie guy that's just
No.
paying their dues in the
Then
indie
how is
circuit.
Roxy there? Like how are people in NXT that have independent wrestling experiences? Like how are those people still there? How is it Jeff Jarrett still being brought in as your executive? Like there's a immediate argument for that. I understand that's a new focus for them, and it is a smart one. It's not a broken one. AEW has things where they've looked at people that have those backgrounds as well. I know plenty of guys that got into independent wrestling that have boxing backgrounds, that have theater backgrounds. Like, so what is it wrong that they went into that and got successful at this stuff right away?
Not.
I know
Absolutely
there's
not.
fitness models I know that got into pro wrestling. They're like, yeah, I think I can do this.
That's what Trish
you know?
Stratus was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's people I know that have a fitness background. They're like, hey, you got a body.
The Miz wasn't a wrestler by trade. The guy was just a reality TV
Hey,
star.
let's
Look
go
at him.
Flip back to that here.
Here we go. Victor Nash. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it, Victor. And we know we have a
Victor.
couple more. I know we have a
We love
couple
you.
more people watching today, so I want to dip into the people that are still with us here. Victor Nash with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for the support, Victor. You're watching all the time. I really appreciate it. Buddy.
Appreciate you.
Where do you guys see W Morrissey go? We kind of alluded to this. Where is he most likely to go?
Flip a coin.
I think it's all elite, but at this point, there's just so many new people they've introduced in the last less than a year, that are still finding their footing. Some of them that people have already said they've been lost in the shuffle. And I would say now, just right now, I don't maybe think that's the best time to go there.
It depends on how did he like the WWE way
Sure.
of doing things, the style, the 300 days on the road. Does he like that, or did he's got a taste of what Impact did with only taping once a month. He has an idea what AEW now does because he was there one time. So it's basically gonna come down to a preference of how you want to live. And if you want that another run on WWE, but then sacrifice everything else you're going to be doing.
I just had this incredible thought. Like, what if you have a small run in New Japan? Just come get that New Japan experience too, right?
The big man.
Now you got everyone, right? Now you got that experience.
Have him join Bullet Club.
You got that experience from AEW. Now you got that New Japan experience, which is a totally different system of working.
I'm with Jose. If I'm him,
now
I go
you got the tools. Now you got those tools.
Have him join Bullet.
To that other level.
Have
bro.
him join
Absolutely.
Have him join Bullet Club and show up at Forbidden Door.
Hell yeah, dude. If I'm him, the big man formula in New Japan has the big foreign guy formula. They've loved it since the 70s there. And they had Hogan, they had Vader, they had Stan Hansen.
Yes.
So you have all these big guys.
That match when Vader's eye popped out that was in Japan.
Yep.
Just pop it back in and start punching people in the face.
No big deal.
Yeah, you want to lose your lunch? Just go look that up there. Gary the new man. He's a new man, Gary, saying easy answer in terms of the MJF.
Gary Newman, the guy that did Cars. That old 80s synth pop song.
Driver, not cars. He goes, easy answer. He didn't get fired, MJF. This is the freaking work of the century. It is only getting started. All right, another question here on this MJF.
Another one here. Work of the century. They took Punk's promo from 11 years ago, inserted an MJF, and acted like it was innovative and fresh. Is MJF a good heel?
No,
but he can't talk about his work when he needs work.
Have you listened to Punk? Have you recently listened to Punk's promo from 11 years ago? That was nothing like that promo at all.
No, a lot more swearing in this.
He was talking more about me. He was mad at me because I was holding people back, and I didn't like this guy because he's a little guy. He's just
Johnny. We're talking to the people. Let's give the people the power.
Right.
Okay.
This Phil guy is just a tiny guy. He won't get over.
Too small. It's too small. For you?
He won't get over.
Good luck with your future endeavors.
Yeah. Here's the trash bag for you, kid.
Oh, you're brutal. Great. I'm gonna have to get on the phone. I'm gonna have to talk to a PR person now. That's great.
We had a great audience today, guys. We appreciate every single one of you. We had nearly 300 people tuning in, guys. If you just tuned in, make sure you engage with the show. You hit that like button and share it right now in your favorite wrestling group as we sign off. We thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah.
I'm going to drop the link for you guys as well. You guys enjoy our show as a video show. You can get it on demand, video, and on YouTube and Facebook. But we're also available in your ears whenever you want on Spotify, on Apple. Thank you once again to the fans in Ireland, all of you guys in the Republic of Ireland, making us the #1 wrestling podcast in Ireland this week. We've been able to stay in that charts. We're on the charts in Pakistan, India, fans across the United States, Canada, Australia, keeping us in the mix with the biggest podcast. So we really do appreciate that. We put out a lot of content on there too. So if you miss any of our shows, it's easier for you to listen. We know that's a little bit more relaxed for some people working at home, doing different things. You want to go out. I can't just sit somewhere, right? Well, we're with you all the time. We love shouting out new viewers too. So go ahead and give us a shout out if you're listening on social media anywhere. Give us a follow at SKWrestling_ on Twitter. A lot of stuff popping up there as well. A lot of cool content coming up this weekend. We'll have post shows and a whole lot of content with the upcoming NXT In Your House, which will air on Saturday as a special on Peacock. And then Sunday, I will be at WWE Hell in a Cell at the greatest wrestling arena in the world, the Horizon.
We'll show with
Rosemont
Kevin
Horizon.
on location. That's
location,
always fun,
baby.
when we got
you're gonna join us for the post show. Sweet.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and have the cell in the background as long as I can.
Ooh, nice. We will not have a post show immediately after NXT on Saturday night. Not able to do so.
We'll be doing it Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Kevin and I will be live. I don't know if Jose, Jose might still be recovering. Jose will have a hangover at 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern. Kevin and I will be live right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, doing our review of NXT In Your House. I always want to say takeover, but NXT In Your House. But then also we'll set the table up for Hell in a Cell, and then of course we'll join you right after Hell in a Cell as well. And stay tuned. We may be back. We may have Getting Over on Twitch, maybe a regular Wednesday thing. Now keep tuned.
Yes.
Here's one where we sign off. Jason Holland. How many AEW Karens will come out if this isn't a work? Kind of like, are they all crying with the Cody situation? Just trying to get mad at someone.
So we're calling AEW fans Karens now? I thought they were stands.
Oh, they were stands. If you're not a stand,
they're effing marks.
And anyone with the first name Mark who doesn't follow wrestling today is like, what is going on with my Twitter notifications? What is going on?
Why am I
This is ridiculous.
today?
All right. To that person and any person, don't worry. You don't have to argue about what wrestling show is better. Just watch the wrestling you like. Calm down. Take a breath. And do what?
Guys, just enjoy it. Enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.
Talk to them.
People power.
Come on, Johnny.
Dude.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!